Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will put this in order here today and reconvene this committee at the desire of the administration. Um, we have a quorum. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Representative Boyd, Representative Byrd, Representative Freeman, Representative Hall, Representative Jernigan, Representative Kumar, Representative Marsh, Representative Ramsey,
Here.
Representative Sherrill, Representative Smith, Representative Terry. Chairman, you do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any personal orders today? The announcement was made late on the committee here, so probably didn't invite anybody, but if you have personal orders, be glad to encourage. Sir? Oh, okay, later. All right. We will go ahead and take up our calendar for today. We have House Bill 490 as our only item. We have a proper motion and second on the bill. There is an amendment that makes the bill. It is 8147. And we have proper motion and second on the amendment that makes the bill. I would probably, let's go ahead for clarity's sake and let the sponsor make comments and describe the bill to us before we consider the other amendment. It's been my understanding that this bill had come with a request to put it on notice before the end of session, and that was kind of short notice. That's why we have this unexpected calendar today. This bill, to my understanding, increased state expenditures in the nature of a commission that's going to be formed. The governor has already set aside that funding for the commission. And with that explanation and expectation, we will ask the sponsor, Dr. Terry, if you'd like to go ahead and describe the bill to us.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. This bill basically has five goals or five parts to it. Part one, it sets up a medical cannabis commission in order to help develop a non-biased medical cannabis program for when the federal government removes cannabis from Schedule 1. Number two, it sets up a process for decriminalizing possession of 0.9% THC cannabis oil for a limited number of patients with certain diseases. It has the commission prioritize the creation of a patient registration system in order to facilitate reciprocity and access for patients, including those 9 groups of patients that could obtain the 0.9% oil. Again, that commission, they can only make recommendations. They cannot create anything. The bill specifically prohibits what I would call a corporate medical cannabis program, which includes cultivation, distribution, processing, or shipping of cannabis until cannabis is removed from Schedule 1. That definition of medical cannabis program specifically removes patient and research from that, so that there are patient and research protections in the bill should we wish to advance any of those pieces of legislation next year. As the chairman said, the bill is funded in the budget. Speaker Sexton is supportive of the bill. Governor Lee has removed his philosophical flag from the bill. The Departments of Safety and Health, as well as the sheriffs and chiefs of police, are deferred, and this bill will be going to the Senate calendar.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments on the amendment that makes the bill? If none, we will entertain the second amendment that was, pardon me. Oh, we hadn't voted on it yet. You want to do that before? So we're just going to amend the bill with the second amendment if that passes. Okay. So we'll be voting on the amendment that makes this bill, with the understanding that we'll be considering an amendment to the bill following. So all those in favor of the amendment that makes the bill, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? So approved. We're on the bill as amended, and we had from Dr. Kumar had asked to consider another amendment. we'll wait for a motion and second on the amendment. If there's, okay, motion and second on the amendment. And I've been asked to consider the position of the bill as amended, that we have done a tremendous amount of work and preparation for this with the administration and with finance. This is what we call a clean bill, this amendment that makes the bill. There will be some I guess, difficulty in assigning a second amendment to this bill in consideration of the flow motion. I mean, we're going to hear this bill in 3 committees today, and Finance Sub and Full and Criminal Justice. And so there's really, is not considered a hostile amendment, but could be considered a confusing and kind of a disorganizing amendment. So that's the opinion of the sponsor. So I will ask Dr. Kumar to describe your amendment.
Thank you for setting up a good stage for it. No, my intent is not to confuse anything or disorganize anything. It is a fact that in states where marijuana is legalized, the incidence of childhood poisonings goes up 3 to 4 times. And all this does is that if this bill passes and this form of marijuana is available, then it be dispensed in child-proof packaging. That's really to protect children. That's all I'm doing. And no, my intent is not to confuse anybody or anything, and I don't think that that is how it should be characterized. With that, I'll be, I guess, I don't know, I'm a member, I can move for this amendment to be adopted.
Yeah.
It's just basically to protect children, things falling in hands of children, and I think that makes common sense. Thank
Chairman Terry, I think you want to be recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And while I appreciate the intent, and I don't know that I'm necessarily opposed to it, I have worked with Department of Safety, the chiefs of police. Specifically, I've been asked, because a lot of people have concerns about if this bill gets to the floor, what amendments may get on there. And so I've been asked not to take any amendments on the bill, but and again, it's not in the Senate version of the bill, but again, that's to the will of the committee on this amendment.
Did we have further comments or questions? My suspicion is that this bill will further impact the fiscal note, which has already been pretty much decided. Really, this bill as amended does not approve medical cannabis. It has the position to raise, and we already have a system in place for 0.6% THC, and all this does is raise it to 0.9 for possession. So essentially, the fabric of what we have for the reasonable intent of possessing this material, it's already in place. So with that statement, I'll ask any other questions or comments about the bill. So we'll have to take a vote on this amendment. Yes, you're recognized, Chair Lady Smith.
Thank you, Chairman. About the amendment, the cost of having a child-proof container, that will fall to the entity that provides the cannabis oil, not to the state. Is that a fair statement, Dr. Kumar?
Chairman Kumar.
Yes, ma'am, it's logical. Sure, you're right.
Chair Lady Smith.
Thank you.
Chairman Terry.
Thank you, Chairman. And one of the points of discussion that I specifically had in order for me to move this bill as we have amended, currently patients with epilepsy or seizures can obtain 0.9% oil, and they are decriminalized in this state. And so The point that I made in order for me to run this bill is not to make it more difficult for those patients. So if anything's increasing the cost on those patients, that would make it more difficult for them.
Dr. Kumar,
Are you?
Speaker Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my thoughts would be if this commission is doing a study and putting the rules together, it looks like it would be their determination whether they should have what kind of containers. And I think that's probably what we ought to leave it up to, is the commission to come up with the rules, which is what I think we're doing now.
Chairman Terry, further comments or questions? Dr. Kumar.
My question is there one commission or two commissions? One commission is to study the matter, and then there's a second commission that's going to work on making this available. Am I confused about it? Kindly clarify.
And I might make a statement. Yeah, there's one commission and appointed very specifically as to their background and skills and knowledge. And certainly they would have the ability to evaluate whatever changes were made in the safety of any containers. So with that said, I'll recognize Dr. Terry.
Thank you, Chairman. And for those 8 new diagnoses that are there, again, they have an attestation letter of up to 6 months. This commission, it's one commission, would give their recommendations by the 1st of January. So at that point in time, if they have other recommendations, then we would have to come back and put in place legislation for that. So there is just one commission.
Further comments or questions? And it's my understanding from handling these other bills that that these materials are intended, and I think everything that really is purchased out of state, which these would be, of course, have child-proof devices, is my understanding. Dr. Terry, do you have any knowledge of that? Yeah. But anyway, further comments or questions before? Yes, sir. Dr.
Did you just say that these materials already, or that form of CBD oil with 0.9% THC comes in child-proof packages already?
Dr. Terry, I'm not sure that the ones that have been presented to us have been in child-proof devices. I mean, this is legislation that went through previously, and I think that my understanding is that what we have now, and certainly anything above 0.6% that's purchased outside the state, everything that I've ever seen did have child-proof devices. None of them were open. So you can tell that my feeling is that we should not muddy the water on this bill. That we should leave it up to the commission, which will be, I think, 2 physicians, 2 pharmacists, and I can't remember what the other membership is, but I think that they would be certainly able to make those decisions as we move forward past where we are now. So further comments or questions? Yes, Representative Cheryl.
Thank
Cheryl.
you, Chairman. And what Dr. Kumar is wanting to do, I think, is a very fair thing that he's asking that we do protect our children. Most definitely, we need to do that. And you was talking about muddying up the water. I don't think he's asking to muddy up the water, but what he's asking to do. If I'm 18 or I'm 30 or whatever, if I want to smoke marijuana or whatever, that's my business. But our children, we need to take care of our children. So that's just a little bit of comment I have to say about it. So I think his amendment that he's asking for, I don't think it should be any problem. Thank you.
And let me say that we most likely will be voting on the floor on this bill in less than 24 hours, is my understanding. So this is not the typical progress or process. And as far as smoking marijuana, this bill in its furthest concept, it doesn't even come close to dealing with that type of material. So my interest is what we're looking at as far as legal possession of a product that's already is in childproof containers when it's sold here, 0.6%, and the 0.9 will be also in that. So my effort here is just to continue the speedy process that we're endeavored in to try to pass this bill that's actually been paid for, and the sponsor has agreed not to take any other amendments. So I don't know what's happening in the Senate, but anyway, with that consideration, and apparently we have no more, Dr. Kumar.
Mr. Chairman, I really feel that you're making an active effort to undo or avoid this amendment. It does not muddy the water. You're claiming that that the material comes in childproof containers. You did not say it in the beginning, and just by you claiming it does not assure that it will be so by all manufacturers unless it is required by law. And I really think, again, it's sincerely the most reasonable thing. If it's not on the Senate side, how many times do we compare notes with Senate and put it on that side? I really didn't think anybody would have any objection to it. I'm really surprised by it. But thank you. I guess you have your preferences.
And certainly with just to take a privilege here, and this is certainly not personal by any means, but this is a very unusual situation. And typically we have, from this point on, we have 4 weeks at least to deal with the legislation. We have less than 24 hours with this. So that's my intention. I mean, I'd love to have it all in concrete bunkers where nobody could get into it except somebody that had a key. But this is not a personal issue between the two of us. This is my effort to reflect what was communicated to us in this committee as we move forward at this flow motion rate. So that, take it or leave it. Chairman Jernigan.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just ask the question. Chairman Terry, do you consider the amendment friendly?
Thank you. Again, I'm not opposed to the concept, but I have made an agreement that I would not take any other amendments on the bill.
Understood. Thank you.
Further comments or questions? If none, we'll be voting on the amendment to go on the bill as amended. All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? We'll await the commission to make that decision, Chairman Kumar. So sorry if I act like I was in some personal manner trying to disrupt your efforts, because I think it's a very noble effort to do that. So we're. I did, yeah. I've already hit it, yeah. The amendment fails. So we're back on the bill as amended. Do we have further questions? Question's been called. No objections to the question. We'll be voting to send this bill to full health. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? So approved. Yeah. If there's no other business, we will adjourn the committee to the call of the chair. I appreciate all of you. There's not been a moment this last year that any of us have had to not have a quorum in this committee. I appreciate all of your dedication and appreciate all the staff. So we will adjourn to the call of the chair.